Hey there, my name is Jimmy Flint-Smith. I'm an actor, model, stuntman out in Los Angeles, California, and I just talked to Keith Andrew, who I believe is doing a phenomenal job making the world a greater place, and I was happy to be on. So, it's good talking to you again, Keith.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Keith Andrew, and this is the Keith Andrew Network. Today, we have a good friend and a good guest. His name is Jimmy Flint-Smith, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, the honor is all mine. For people who want to know, this is part 2 of our interview. You can go back to Season 1. Well, it was actually Season 2, but I had to reverse the orders. But you can go to Season 1 and watch your first episode when we first met, episode 72. That's available on Facebook.com, on the Facebook.com. Like I said, you need a whole switcheroo where he just really messed me off. You can see their first episode, 72, available on Facebook.com under the KeithAndrewNetwork.com Facebook page, and also on YouTube.com. That's right, I'm back on YouTube. I created my new account. Long story about that. But it's now available on both places. But that being said, this is part 2, and after, four and a half, or maybe 5 years, it's great to see you again.
Hey, it's good to see you too. It's good to be back.
No, absolutely. And for people, and now you know my old expression, but it's time for you to be up to date. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and to prove to them still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. When we first did our episode in 72, I was called uncensored, and I was able, turn myself into an example for people deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair. A lot of people criticize me for that because I'm not blind, I'm not deaf, and I'm sure as hell not in a wheelchair. So I'm not really an inspiration, so I gave myself a makeover. Long story short, I got up to 300. People are making idle threats to me. I took it down. I reformatted the show. Now it's the Keith Andrew Network. This is what I'm doing. And before we get into it, the following is brought to you by the Keith Andrew Network. You can get your own official Keith Andrew, but part of disabilities that doesn't people understand what I have. You can get your own official Keith Andrew Network mug. Also, if you're not a mug person, we also have the Keith Andrew Network Trouble Mug. You can pour soda in there. That's what I just did. I'm not a coffee person. Or you could use it for a piggy bank, whatever the hell you want to use it for. And if you're not, like I said, a coffee person, you can put pens in there. It's very usable, decorative. Use it for a piggy bank. You know, it's nice. Some people use it for a door stopper. Some people like killing bugs with it. But whatever. Like I said, I'm making this episode different from our first time. But for people who want to know well about you, you're a professional actor, you're a professional director, stuntman, and model. I would say I'm actually good looking, but I'm not model material. Maybe I would be. But stuntman, yeah, hey, don't knock it till I try it. And director, I produce my own episodes. I guess I'm a director in that sense. And actor, yeah, well, what my father would say to me is, don't quit your day job. But this is not about me. This is about you. You can poke fun at me later when it's your time. But starting off, what was the very first thing you ever did? Were you on model or stuntman?
Well, I got started in the industry when I was in high school, and that was being a stuntman. As we talked about in the last episode, I used to be a Civil War reenactor with my dad. You know, we used to go camping back in the 1800s, so that was a good old time. but that led to stunt work for the History Channel and PBS. I'm an expert on horses and guns, swords, and I've actually expanded that craft into more stunt work with ropes, trick roping, cowboy trick roping, and gun spinning. Also bullwhips, but that's actually got me a few small appearances on TV shows and things like that. So it's been helpful. And I actually had my own show in Silver Dollar City, Missouri, which Branson, Missouri. So I did like a little, we called it Cowboy U, or excuse me, Buckaroo U, and I taught kids how to rope and just kind of put on a little show for the folks. It was fun.
No, absolutely. How long were you a stuntman for, or are you still stunting?
I'm still a stuntman. In fact, I'm always honing my craft and expanding it. I love to learn new things, especially things that most other people might not be familiar with. It started with languages. I learned German. I teach myself German, and I learned Spanish in school. And I expanded it for my work. Obviously, as an actor, you want to be as versatile as possible. So I expanded my cowboy / Civil War stunt experience, raw horses, guns, you name it, to now I'm doing kung fu. And I've done some parkour stuff, though I'm not that good at it yet. We'll see. But it's really important, and it's starting to pay off, because I actually just finished filming a pilot. The name of it is Resurgence, if you want to check it out. And I have to do some kung fu and some different fighting styles and that. So it helps, and it's fun, bottom line.
No, absolutely. And I started to laugh when you mentioned cowboys and Germans. So Cowboys and Germans. Somehow those two don't really get mixed. But can you give us an example? Say that you're a German cowboy. Can you show our viewers what that would sound like?
Here's the thing. I've never combined those two characters. I'm a little scared of what would happen and how it would turn out, so I'm going to spare your viewers me doing that, because I'm sure it would be cringeworthy.
I can imitate it, but I think I would offend some people. But whatever, it's up to you if you want me to try.
Hey, feel free. It's your show.
I think it would go somewhere like "fucking Nugen," or something like that. I'm not really a big fan of Germans, because my ancestors were killed in the Holocaust. But just to mess with people, I do imitate Germans. Fucking Nugen, or when I give someone money back, I'll say, "Here's 25 cents and $9 for you."
That's the best I could possibly ever imagine. That's pretty good.
I just like messing around with people.
What's that?
I just like messing with people.
No, it was good. It was terribly awful, which is why it was amazing. Good job.
I appreciate it. Now, the next one is for people who want to be interested in becoming a stuntman. Did you ever reenact wrestling moves? What opened the door for that? And for people who want to follow in your footsteps, what would be your words of wisdom?
Well, I guess you're not actually asking about wrestling. I did wrestle in high school, but you know what I would say actually to people wanting to get in the stunt industry? I would say first find something that you're good at or that you have an interest in, something maybe you have some experience with. Because here's the thing about stunts is that whether it be wrestling, whether it be horses, guns, fighting, juggling, most people don't think of that as a stunt, but it could be. Like, say, for example, you're in a movie and they need a juggler to get hit by the main character with a bat or something like that. You need to know how to fall. You need to know how to do this. But you're already juggling. You're doing this thing while you're, in the scene. So I would say if that makes any sense, what I'm trying to get at is find what you're good at, hone that, and then expand in other areas. because you never know what someone's going to be looking for. One of the things I like about trick roping is that I'm one of probably 4 or 5 people. There might be more, but I haven't seen it. 4 or 5 people in the industry, at least out here in Hollywood, that know how to do what I do. And those 4 or 5 people work because whenever there's a Western, or even, I've been on YouTube star shows. People with huge followings will do like an episode on cowboys, and they hire me or one of these 4 or 5 other people. So I would advise, in a nutshell, embrace what you're good at and find an avenue for it.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned I wasn't really active, but now I am. What can you tell us about wrestling? Have you ever wanted to be a WWE wrestler, or were you a professional wrestler?
No, I actually would look pretty silly if I did that. First off, I'm not as yoked as those guys are. I do quite a bit of modeling, but it's more for like the skinny fit, stuff. I'm not a bodybuilder, so first off, I would get my butt handed to me, whether it's staged or not.
Yeah.
No, in fact, when I wrestled in high school, I put on a little more meat since then, in a good way. But they used to call me Mr. Fantastic in high school. Not a lot of people. It was like every once in a while I'd hear it because I was so tall and gangly, like a basketball player, and I did play basketball also. That it was like I was very awkward, I guess, being on the mat because of all these short, husky, really muscular guys I'd be wrestling. I was pretty good, only because I wrestled for one of the best high schools in the nation. We sent, 4 or 5 people easily, if not like the whole team, to nationals every year, and we took a lot of medals home. I was never that good because these guys in my hometown, they were raised on wrestling. They'd been doing it for a long time. They were much better than me, and I honestly was just honored to be on the mat with them because they were superstars. But by wrestling with them, I became very good in the grand scheme. I was never as good as them, but when it comes down to high school wrestling, I was pretty good.
No, absolutely. What about, you also mentioned basketball. Did you ever want to be a professional basketball player?
It's funny you mentioned that. I did. In fact, I'd say that was one of my first dreams, as it were. I love the NBA. I've always been a Lakers fan, which is ironic because I'm from the Midwest, and there's a lot of Midwestern teams. But I don't know. It's Kobe. I was a sucker for Kobe, like everybody. And we didn't have a team in Missouri, so I got to pick mine, and I just kind of call it a bandwagon team or not. That's where I gravitated. And that's one of the fun things about coming to California is that I get to see my Lakers all the time. And now we got LeBron, so that's exciting. He's no Kobe, but it's still cool. And yeah, it's actually, I've been pretty spoiled with it. Not getting to grow up and go to the games, only having to watch them on TV. You have that longing to go experience that. Now I have a VIP suite that I can go to the Clippers, Kings, Lakers concerts all the time, and I do. If you check out, my Instagram, I'll post videos sometimes, just hanging out in the suite. And,
yeah, VIP, rub it in right on you.
What's that?
A VIP, rub it in right on you.
I just got lucky. It's a long story behind that, but I don't want to go into it. But yeah, no, it's in a nutshell. I just kind of get to live that. I'm not on the court, but I still get to enjoy it, And basketball is something that I have great respect for, and I get to experience it. And that's just honestly one of the random things of LA. You never know where you're going to end up or what opportunities you're going to get. So I consider myself very lucky with that.
No, absolutely. Hey, if you can put a good word in for me for VIP, I would love that.
If you come out to LA, maybe we can have a night on the town or something like that. Hit up the Lakers game, and then whatever stuff you want to check out here. There's a million things to do. It's impressive.
Yeah, I may take you up on that. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, what were some of your favorite acting skits that you ever did, and what were some of your favorite acting moments?
When you say skits, do you mean like I mean, do you just mean things that I've been in, or do you
Yes.
mean like, okay. Let me see. I'll tell you, actually, there was one, there's a million to choose from, but there's one pretty recently that was a lot of fun. I worked on a feature film, a Western. Go figure, we were just talking about that last summer. And I don't want to talk badly, but the production company didn't really know what they were doing. It was unfortunate because they didn't treat a lot of the actors well. And they were just inexperienced and very cocky, we'll call it. But it was kind of a nightmare film. And we were all filming. It was a cool spot to film. We filmed at this old ghost town up where they filmed a lot of the old Clint Eastwood, John Wayne movies. It's a very famous area. It's called Alabama Hills, and it's in like upper. It's not in North California. It's like in mid California. I don't really know what you would call that area, but we filmed there, and we were just kind of all stuck out in the desert. And it was a cool set, but we couldn't. I don't know. I just want to go into it. But the silver lining in this is that when we got done, I talked to the producer, not the directors. The directors were the nightmare ones. The producer was actually really cool. And, he came and he apologized to me and a lot of the other actors because this isn't a production he didn't know he was getting into. He's like, I promise things are more professional than this usually. So, he was just trying to make amends. And we're like, it's not your fault. Thanks for apologizing, But, another day. And we got to be buddies. We had a long drive back to base camp, and he and I just talked because I do some writing, and I'm like, I'd like to work with you on something. It seems like I've seen your work. You do great work. I think we could really pump out something good. He's like, well, you said you do writing. Why don't you write something? Just write a short, and I'll take care of everything. I'm like, oh, I can get one of my ideas made, like, for film for free. He's like, yeah, I got the money. I'll spot you. Like, everything's good, and we'll just have some fun. And I was like, okay, cool. That's not usually something that you get to do, but I'll take the opportunity. And I write something up. I can't remember how long it took, but I thought to myself, and we can talk about, helping other people out in the industry when you can. We can talk about that in a bit, but what ended up happening, I'm writing and I'm thinking about like characters to involve, and I was thinking about my friend who is he's from Thailand, and I was thinking, I don't know any Indians, like, Native Americans, like, let's do a Cowboys and Indians thing, and I don't know any, but I was just talking to him about how he is a fire breather, and this is what I was talking about with the stunt work and the different skills. He's a fire breather, and he never gets to put it to work. He's just, not known enough, or he doesn't go work on the right productions to where he can showcase that skill that he loves to do. I'm like, I want to get him in this film. With the risk of sounding politically incorrect, he could pass for an Indian. He could pass for a Native American. He's got similar facial features and things, and, I hope that doesn't offend anybody. But he was all about it. He was very excited. So I wrote a part where he got to be a fire breather, and we went into this cave. And when I say this producer hooked us up, I had no clue what he was going to give us, because he gave us more than I could have ever hoped or imagined for. He had locations, he had horses, he had, weapons, he had costume, he had, everything. He had a drone. We got, drone footage of another friend and I wrote in is a stunt writer like I am. And I wanted to help him out. I was on a film working with him. We were medieval knights running into battle with spears and, jousts and whatever, they put in our hands, and flags and things. And he's like, oh yeah, I spent 10 years, in Renaissance fairs doing the knight thing. And I'm like, okay, you can fall off a horse. You want to be in this film? I'll get you shot off a horse, and you can use that footage. So it was amazing, and it was literally just hanging out with your friends. We were just all buddies hanging out on set, goofing around. And we just got amazing footage. I just got it the other day, and it still needs to be edited, but the footage looks amazing. But anyway, back to this guy, the fire breather. They had a scene that I wrote where you go into a cave, okay? One guy gets chased into a cave. a mine, technically. It was like a sulfur mine or something like that. And this mine we got to go in. I didn't know they made them this big. We literally drove a Jeep halfway into a mountain. Like, we went a mile into the side of a mountain in a Jeep. And I was hanging out the side of the Jeep, like, filming just for fun, to show how, like, huge this thing was. It was amazing. But, this guy, the fire breather, he had a torch, and, he had this cool scene where he's hiding in the shadows, and this bad guy is chasing him, and he, like, the torch goes by, and you see, like, just out of the shadows, he comes and he spits whatever he uses, lighter, like the whatever lighter fluid that fire breathers use, and he spits it onto the torch and burns the guy's face like a dragon. He's like, ah. And it was just amazing. So, I mean, this experience, I've had a lot of amazing experiences on set, but this was definitely one of the top, because we're friends hanging out, making movie magic, and we did it our way. No one was telling us what to do. We had toys, and we just got to play.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I ask you a couple more questions, so I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Williams.
This is Vanessa Lina. Adrian Lalo.
This
is Cynthia Bastinet.
I'm Sonia Fisher.
This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie.
My name is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Nicole Brown.
It's Renee Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell.
Hey, buddy, I'm Brooke.
Hi, I'm Bryn Berg.
Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Briza.
I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinello.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Dinah Maasea.
Everyone, I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Crona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Petrell.
My name is Julie.
My name is Julia Brankovic.
Kathleen Wills.
Kimberly Amano.
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia.
I'm Rachel Olivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount.
Hi, I'm Susan Brender.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Turner.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super
fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 575. I'm here with Jimmy Flynn-Smith. I was going to say thank you for sticking with us. Now, as you can see, I'm having a little light problems, but whatever. The sun will come in, come out, whatever. But with that being said, hey, no one's perfect. With that being said, next question I'm going to ask you is, have you ever worked with people with disabilities? And are you willing to work with people with disabilities?
Absolutely. Actually, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. I was on a tour with Fox Sports up in, Michigan this past winter, and we helped out a lot of people, a lot of homeless people. We did a lot of soup kitchen visits and things like that. So that was, oh my God, it was a lot of fun. A whole week up there in the freezing cold, but we were doing good. We were helping a lot of people, and we were bringing a lot of smiles to people's faces. And that's what I'm all about. But out here in California, I do quite a bit, actually. Not necessarily just people with disabilities, but I like to work with kids, people who have talents and ambitions that have yet to be developed. I work with a group called the Young Storytellers Foundation. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. And essentially, that means that once a week I go and mentor a kid, usually in like the 3rd or 4th grade, to take all this creative juice that kids have, and channel it into something that they can physically see, and see that their thoughts and ideas can become reality. And what that means is that we, again, once a week, we help them write a script over the course of 8 weeks. And at the end of, it's just a short page. It's a 5-page script, so it's not a lot. But at the end of the 8 weeks, we have what's called a big show. And these kids get to see their work come to life. They come to the gymnasium at their school, and we bring in other actors such as myself to audition for the parts. And then they bring in the whole school after these parts have been given out, and all these mini, plays essentially get brought to life. These actors act them out in front of all their peers, and it's just a big thing, So I love doing that. It's very rewarding, and these kids are so creative. I learn from them, and they learn from me. But I feel like we both take something from it. Also, I started a national philanthropy with a friend of mine who had lost her brother with disabilities, and he has nothing but good things to say about him, how he inspired him, and I learned from both of them. So that's Operation Share Bear, and we help people every winter. We help kids have toys for Christmas, similar to Toys for Tots, but we put our own flair on it. It's kind of like an ice bucket challenge meets Toys for Tots. You can look up the website if you want to check that out, Operation Share Bear. But yeah, I'm all about it. Those are just what I'm doing right now. And apologize, I seem to be very long-winded, so sorry.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is what about social media? Can social media make you or break you with everything you accomplish? Does LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media platforms, do they dictate if people should work with you or hire you?
I've had a long journey discovering and trying to understand social media, it started before I was an actor, honestly, because one of my degrees that I have is in marketing, and the other one's in digital cinema, and those kind of go hand in hand. Now, when I say I have a degree in marketing and mass communication, that's a good thing, but honestly, it doesn't even touch the surface of social media, because here's the thing about social media. It changes every day. There's new platforms coming out every day that I've never heard of, and they're the new hip thing, and it's really, honestly, very hard and exhausting to try to keep up with it. That being said, I do okay. In fact, I've been focusing most of my energy into my Instagram. You can find me at Jimmy Flint-Smith. It's just my name. And I'm, somewhere over, I'm like 13,000 right now. And it's pretty good. I'm no superstar, but it's a good way for people to see what you're up to. And that's the good things about it. The bad things about it and the tricky things about it, especially in the industry, is that, and there's different opinions on this, different casting directors will say different things, but the fact is, because I've seen it, and it's just, you can't deny it, it does affect if you get the part. It does. If you don't have so many followers and you're going up against, you're in the audition room and the guy coming in after you did just as good, or you might have done a little better. They liked you more, but that guy's got, 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
200. You're not going to get the part. I hate to say it, because it's free publicity for the film or commercial or whatever you're working for. They look for that. And I know people who are, YouTube stars, and they get hired for movies with A-listers because they have a big following. And they'll tell me, they're like, I'm not even an actor. I don't want to act. But hey, when they throw thousands of dollars at me, I'll do it. So, and it stinks because you know what? It's a disservice to the industry. It takes out the people. It makes it harder to do your job, first off, because you have to focus your creative energy into marketing yourself. And in my opinion, it's kind of cheap. I don't like to say, hey, look at me. Hey, look how pretty I am in this picture or whatever, but that's what people want to see. So it's a juggle. It's finding a medium in that, and a medium that doesn't drive you crazy, because it can. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. The big thing is that there's a lot of people with talent who don't get seen because they're focusing more on their talent than they are on that. But I personally have found a good, healthy balance. What I learned in school probably helped me a lot. And I found something in it that actually I'm okay with, and it is fun. I found a happy medium. So I
agree with you. And my friend Scott Churchill said to me, "Oh, if you're interested, we can. I know a person that will get you 50,000 people." And I said, one, I tried that, and it didn't work. Two, I don't like bribing people. With that being said, there's a lot of wrestlers I want on the show. Velvet Sky, Marlena Perez, and all of them. I ain't paying you guys, because if I pay you, then it takes away from the message. You're just saying, oh, well, you have a disability, but my time is valuable. Yes, I understand, but I'm not bribing you with money to be on my show. This is the second time you're on my show. You're doing this because we're friends. You're making a new friend out of it. That's what, and you're supporting a message. I'm not freaking throwing money at you and say, hey, here's a quick payday, because then it takes away from my message and it takes away from what I'm doing.
Amen.
But with that being said, I was going to say something. I had a brain. Oh, okay. Going back to what Scott said, I communicate and I approach every single person. I don't care if you're 6 years old. I don't care if you're 10, 15, 24, 60, 70. If you're on social media and if you're on Instagram, I will approach you and I will say the same exact thing. Hey, my name's Keith Andrew. I'm a talk show host with a disability. I'm making a message for people with disabilities. And I extend my hand to you in friendship, and I would like to have you as a guest on the show. Well, not even as a guest on the show. Just extend my hand into you in friendship, and I would like you to become a fan of mine. Unfortunately, I was told to go blank myself because I don't keep it PG. I was told to go blank myself by a couple people.
Yikes.
But go ahead.
I would say that's not fun at all. There's no reason for that attitude, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. Or other people would say, why are you telling me this? And it's kind of like, oh, well, we want to be hypocrites. Be hypocrites. But whatever, it's not my karma. But with the last 2 minutes left of the show, I'm going to pass it over to you. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to promote? This is your time, after all.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's something I'd like to mention, but honestly, you brought up a good point about, the way people act. And I guess I can elaborate on that briefly because we're running out of time here. But I just want to say that I think it's really cool what you're doing, especially since, everyone has struggles and everyone has obstacles to overcome. When I was a kid, I had, I still have it, but I struggle with Tourette syndrome. I think more people know about that now, but at the time, not really anybody knew about it. So I had to explain, hey, why is your head shaking? Why are you blinking so much? Things like that. And it was annoying. It was more annoying, though, too, because you stand out in a way that makes you self-conscious. And, you just want to do what normal people do. But you know what? There are no normal people. Everyone's struggling with something. And that's why I think your show is important, because it helps inspire people, and it helps show that if you're disabled, if you have a speech impediment, if you have a wheelchair, if you do this, do that, it can be a challenge. But if you, again, with the stunts, if you find the right avenue, you can use it to your advantage. And you know what? As long as it doesn't hinder you, you're the only one who can let it do that. So I would say, I definitely love what you're doing, and I think it's an amazing thing, and I hope that I can do that for people too. And that's why I'm an actor. That's why I like to put my face out there and say, hey, you can do anything. Just do it. Just do it, like Nike says. But anyway, moving forward, I guess I should mention a few, one major thing is that I think I talked about it briefly in the beginning of the show. I'm in a pilot right now called Resurgence. If you want to give that a look, we're going to have the website up pretty soon. And it's, I believe it's going to be sort of a crowdfunding. I don't really deal with the production right now. But, if you want to look into that, it's actually a really cool show, kind of in the vein of superheroes. We've got to pay a tribute to Stan Lee, Stan the man, and just everything that he's accomplished. Because you know what? Those are people who inspire people too. Anyone can be inspired by Captain America or, Thor or, Black Widow, things like that.
Or Son Goku.
Yes, exactly. Amen, sir. But if you want to check that out, that'd be pretty cool because I have high hopes for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but hinting real fast to what I was saying before. It's like I said, I communicate with everyone. If I'm 6 all the way up to 60, and I think it's important to get the message out to people. Like in middle school and high school, because this is where it kind of sinks in and you can kind of mold them and you kind of push them in the direction and say, hey, be a better human being, do the right thing. But somehow being told to go fuck yourself by a middle schooler, it's kind of like, where your parents, number one, I see your parents are doing a banged up job raising you, and also it's kind of like, who talks to someone like that?
No respect, man. But you know what?
That's the problem.
I think they'll probably figure out later in life that they can't go around treating people like that. If it's going to be a hard lesson, then it's going to be one that they're going to have to learn. And you know what? It's not worth your time to even dwell on it because you're doing something good, and what are they doing? Picking their nose? I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. You know what? At the end of the day, karma's a bitch. Yeah. So, like I said, it's uncensored freedom of speech, self-expression, and if you get me riled up, I just, I said keep it PG. Let's make it PG-13. So I don't like to be. And I take this close to heart. I give you an example real fast. I don't wear it when I'm home, but when I'm at work or anywhere, I wear this around my neck. It says KeithAndrewNetwork 2013. And this is a badge of honor. I'm not wearing it to have sympathy. I'm not doing it to kiss anyone's ass. I'm doing this because I want to do this to the day I'm dead. Till I'm 6 feet under, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's why I have that. That's why I have the mug, or, the travel mug, because I'm very passionate about what I do. This is not a joke. It's just not a scam. And that goes real fast back to the rest of it real fast, and I promise I will shut up. It's because I think they're hesitant about being on the show. It's because, one, they don't know me. And two, it's like, are you making money off this? And are you trying to become famous? Like for you, for an example, you're a famous star. It's like, am I trying to be famous off of your fame? Or am I trying to make a buck off of you? No, absolutely not. I just want your friendship. I just want to consider you a good friend. Making a statement of saying people with disabilities can still amount to something. And I am not a hypocrite. I do stupid things, yeah. I take whatever you throw at me for that. But this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But was that...
Hey, so far so good.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, the last two I'm going to ask you. Are you on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn? How can your fans follow you? Or is there any websites you would recommend that I didn't mention? And when I first approached you, going back to 4.5 years ago and longer than that, actually, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And doing the interview 4.5 years later, almost 5, how do you feel now? And would you recommend it?
To answer your first question, Instagram would be the best way to follow me. Also check out my IMDb. That's Jimmy Flint-Smith, both ways. I think there's even a link on my Instagram, so you could just do that first if you want. I just try to stick to that. I don't bother with Twitter or any of those other ones. I got one figured out, and that's good enough for me. And that's honestly what most casting directors use. So there you go. You can see what I'm up to there. And to answer your other question about my impression of you and your show, I think I already answered this. I think it's very inspiring. I'm honored to be here. I am, again, someone who's overcome my own adversities, and everyone has their own challenges. So for someone to spotlight people, I guess, to inspire others, I think is very admirable. And coming on again, I'm just kind of bummed it took so long, but we're both busy, so that's okay. I'd love to come on again and just kind of check back in. And so many things have happened. Literally, I don't know what happened yesterday, because life in Hollywood is insane if you're doing it right. If you are working and hustling every day, then every day is going to be like a lifetime in a good way. I love it. And I love sharing that with you and your viewers.
No, absolutely. Maybe the next time we meet again, I will actually have a studio. And I want to do a little plug real fast. This June 15th in Warwick, New York, it's my 6th annual anniversary show. And people are like, well, what are you talking about? So it's going to start off where I'm going to answer that question right now. From 2 to 4, I will come out. It's story time with Keith. I will tell you how I came up with it, from a birthday list to using my disability as a crutch to wanting to mount to something. And then from 3 to 4, I'm going to do like a Q&A, and it's also going to be like a roasting. And I would love to have you there. I want you there, and I want you to roast me. It's Saturday, June 15th. That's, like I said, Saturday, June 15th, 2 to 5. And from 4 to 5, it's an autograph session. So you get autographs, take pictures with me. And it will only work out if I have enough people. But as of right now, only 2 people want to go, so I'm not renting the place. But I would love to have you there if it's possible. I would love to promote you. Maybe that will get more people interested. But I would really appreciate you having you there, and I want you to roast me.
Hey, sounds good to me, man. I've never done that before. Sounds fun. But yeah, let's talk about that.
No, absolutely. Stay tuned for after the show about wrapping up our interview segment. It was an honor and privilege having you as a guest for part 2, and I'm looking forward to continuing building friendships. I can't talk. Building a friendship with you as well.
Hey, I love it, man. Let's keep this going.